So, welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. As you know, as I said before, our guests have all gone now, and I'm just starting to get back into the workshop. A bit of gardening to do. I had to mow the garden yesterday and today and finish up some things. I just wanted to bring you up to date. I met a chap in Fürstenfeld, which is the town where we live, and he's a car enthusiast and has I think a Mark III XJ6, the 4.2, and a couple of old Range Rovers I think he has, and a few other MGA and a few other bits and pieces. Anyway, he was interested in coming up and having a look at some of my stuff and that, so particularly likes the E-Type Jaguar. It's his dream car, so I took him out for a spin in it, which he was very happy about, loved it. And we got talking, and he's looking for another car or another vehicle to restore. Particularly, he's interested in Land Rovers, Range Rovers. And so I mentioned my 1967 Series 2, which I've had for about 5 years now. I've got the parts for it, and it just seems like I'm never going to get around to do it. So I said to him, well, I might be interested in selling that. And when I offered him a price, he said yes, and took it straight away. He hasn't actually seen the vehicle, he's seen pictures of it, and but he's more than happy. I gave him a very good price on it. I made a little bit of profit on it from what it cost me to buy in England and transport it over here, along with a few other bits and pieces in it. And so the way I look at it is, you know, I don't really need a Land Rover. It was just a bit of a, what could you say, a bit of a folly, I suppose, in a way, that I had this memory from being ex-Royal Marines and driving Land Rovers. The price was good and I thought, why not? But since then, obviously, other things have gone on and we've got more projects. So the way I look at it now is for what I got for the Land Rover, it'll fund my 2 new Minis and give me a little bit of money to buy some parts for them. So I think this is the way to go with things. Sometimes you can't hang on to everything. You don't have the space for a start off. So yeah, so that's basically a done deal. I've just got to take him up and let him have a look at it, but they'll need to move it away. So. The second bit of news is we were going to buy a collapsible paint booth for the lower garage where I do most of my mess work, you know, welding, paint, sandblasting, all that kind of stuff, priming, kind of dirty work I don't want to do in here and make a mess. And the where I was going to get it from, or the person I was going to get it from, I was going to do the cars for them. And now they decided they don't want to go ahead with that, but they still want us to paint the car. So what they've done is they've come up with a deal with a local large supplier of new cars and older cars to use their workshop. It's right next to where the other XK is stored. Literally, I can push the body out and 50 meters into their workshop. So the deal is we're going to use their from a Friday afternoon till Monday morning or Sunday night, late Sunday night, we can use their facility. So we get the heater, we get the spray booth, we have to use our own gun, of course, our own breathing apparatus, but their heater, their booth, their power and everything, and he'll pay them a nominal fee because he's such a good customer of theirs. He buys a lot of vehicles from them. So that's what we intend to do. What I do now intend to do, once we get this second part of the garage built, the extension piece onto it, or double it, is I'll build a booth up the other end and try and keep any metal work out of there if we can. But I will build a booth because we need to be able to, you know, repaint doors and parts and all the rest of it. And this particular collapsible booth was £8,500, which it will cost me less than half of that to build one. So that's the plan for the future once we can get the second garage built. What was the other thing? Tom from Minisport has just sent me an email back saying that I think I told you that it had been about 6 weeks delay getting these S-Pack arches, and apparently all the arches he has are already spoken for. Because obviously I want him to send me the missing rear arch. So he's now getting on to his supplier to say, send me another one. And so he's basically saying it's the supplier's issue because they put the 4 arches together. So we'll see what comes out of that. And lastly, I'm going to show you a bit of video with the plasma cutter and what I'm doing. And lastly, somebody was asking me about the smoking. Yeah, I'm still smoking. I'm smoking a lot. I was down to 20 cigarettes a day, and I was using the vaporizer. But since my wife had this bronchitis, she stopped smoking. This was about 4 weeks ago, and she has my vaporizer, so she went out and got me a new one. So now I'm back on this again. And what I found with this was the vaporizer is really good, but the most important thing is that you get the right juice. They call it juice, the liquid you put in it, is to get that right for you, and the nicotine content. And why I stopped using it was, the first time I filled it, it had nicotine in it and it was working, and I went down to 20 cigarettes a day, which was great from what I have now, or what I had before. And then I broke this bowl when I was in Dubai, and I've got a new one a couple of weeks later. And when I started again, I put the wrong one in. I put it in with 0 nicotine, and then of course it was having no effect. So I stopped using it. So it just shows you've got to use the right combination. But this one is really nice, it works well. And yeah, so I'm going to start back on it in the workshop. So in the video you'll see over in the other workshop, the rented workshop, with a new nozzle for the plasma cutter. And then also in here, fabricating it, making it work better. So, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and take care of each other. Bye for now. Just come over to the rented garage. I got a new, or what I thought was the new nozzle for this plasma cutter. This is the normal style, which is basically a ring, as you can see. Hopefully you can see that. And that normally sits on the end of here to give you enough standoff away from the metal to cut it so the air's blasting the molten metal out of the way. The problem with these is they're quite fragile, and not fragile, but they burn away quite easy and you go through them a lot. And when I went to the welding shop, the guy showed me this one. I'll try and show you in there, and you can see I've just tried it just now, and obviously that it didn't. It was too far away, so I just basically cut this end off here. This is too deep. This is the reason it wouldn't work. So I've cut that off, and I've just tried it now. I've just put a couple of holes in with a cutter, but I would cut those with a round file to give it enough opening like this one has. You can probably see that there, to allow the cuttings to come out. And it works pretty well. So what I'll do is this is a much better system. So I'll take this away now, clean the cuts up, and then when I come back I'll give it another try. But it seems to be on square enough. And I'll show you quickly, if you can see the piece of metal at the back of me there. You can see it in the corner. I'll just cut a little bit. I'm not actually rigged up for it, so I've got it against the wall so there's no splatter coming on me because I've got my shorts on and no gloves. But I'll show you how it would work. And you can see from that we cut pretty well. So what I'll do is I'll clean up the end of this. I'll take these two bits with me and leave this here as a backup in case we have any issues, because I want to cut the stainless steel on the back, and I want to cut it really well so when we go to weld it it's almost seamless for the back of this Volkswagen. So when we get back to the workshop I'll show you some other bits and pieces. As you can see here, this is the tool from the plasma cutter, and originally it was obviously that size, and that neck was far too long. It wasn't allowing the nose through. This must be for a different brand, and I wasn't sure of the brand at the time. It's Burner, I think. Anyway, so what I've done is I tried it out, and I've actually hopefully you can see. Hang on, I'll try and get that to focus properly. Is that focusing? Yeah, looks like it is. So you can see I've cut some holes in it like the original ones, just with a round file. And then obviously what I've tried to do is recreate that. Obviously this is perfect because it's machine cut, and I now know that that'll work because the nose is the correct distance from it. Sorry, that's probably not showing it very well. So yeah, so basically you shove this cap, it's got a little O-ring in it, you shove this cap onto the other one and then you can just put this onto your steel and pull it along. And if not, I can use the other style one. So, and this bit is the original. So you can adapt things. It would be better if I could get one directly from the company, which is what I'll probably do if they have this system.